VinCue is a powerful performance tool that will excel your dealership to the next level. It is imperative that it is listened to and looked at, and you have to believe. I mean, you have to go forward and look at everything that it provides for you and just trust the data.
Welcome to Cue the Next Leader. This is Angela Rizzo. Today I'm here with David Shoemaker from the Patriot Group. Hey, David, how's it going?
Everything's going great. Thanks for asking.
Love it. So I noticed on your email signature that you are the GM and the magic maker.
Indeed.
You tell me a little bit more about the magic that you make at your dealership?
Well, the owner, Adam Aarons, had asked his senior level leaders to try to throw on some type of tagline on their emails. He wanted everybody to use the Magic Maker tagline because that's what we do for our customers. We serve them in a way that allows a lot of people scratching their head saying, how'd they do that? Where'd it come from? After a lot of years, it's been about 7 or 8 years now, mine's the only one remaining that has stuck because I continue to make magic every day for our customers, for our employees, for our vendors. It has been a wonderful, wonderful journey with this organization.
I love it. And I love that approach because, the customer is everything. You can make magic for the customers and your employees, then you really have a winning formula, don't you?
Absolutely. It was interesting after a few customers would kind of joke about it after getting emails. And then after their experience, they'd say, wow, you know what? You really do make magic. And it just continued to tumble from there. So
that's great. That's great. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your background in automotive and maybe a little bit more about the dealership?
Absolutely. I started about 21 years ago with Subaru down in Connecticut. Very quickly moved up to Maine. I joined Adam's organization about 18 years ago, 19 years ago now. Started in sales, worked my way through finance, to the sales desk, used cars, and then eventually about a year ago now took over as GM. And he's actually been gracious enough to bestow upon me having 2 of his organizations that I run. And it's a partnership. He's a mentor, and it's been a great informative ride where we've learned a lot about each other and the car business over the years.
That's great. Well, 21 years in the car business is no small feat. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there something like one thing you can talk about that makes being in the car business so special?
Well, I think for me, it was when I first started, and this was back in the early 2000s, you'd hear about car people being, ambulance chasers, lawyers, stuff like that. Not to dismay that profession, but in the end of the day, I decided I want to make a difference for people and the organization too. Getting better reviews, getting people to understand that it doesn't have to be painful. It can be an easy experience. It can be a fun experience if you allow it. And then that trickled down to trying to work with the staff. We have a philosophy here at the dealership. We're not promoted by our leaders. We're promoted by our peers. When the rest of the organization tells the leaders in the organization that somebody's ready to lead, that's the next leader that they're going to figure out how to get in front and make the changes that are necessary to grow with culture and society and the market in general. So,
wow, that's great. That's great. What kind of things do you guys do in the community? I know that car dealerships are always really involved in the community. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've found that we've partnered with a bunch of different organizations. Right now, for the Subaru Share the Love, Patriot Subaru of Saco is partnering with Roots Reusables, which they take teachers and they give them a warehouse, a giant warehouse to go into and pick whatever they need, pencils, paper, erasers, whatever it is, to help the classroom, and it's free of charge for them. So we donate a lot of charity to them. And then Strive, which is it helps young adults with developmental disabilities assimilate into society. And it's a great partnership. Our organization has Kevin on the Roof, where a gentleman goes up and spends about a week on the roof until he raises a certain amount of money for the organization. And we partner really well and help people that need help. I mean, it's making magic and it's serving the community, which is what our mission statement is, to serve. So
that's great. That's really great. Well, let's talk about in the dealership. I'm sure there were some specific pain points that you had in terms of pricing or acquisition or inventory management. Can you talk about some of the things that were pain points and how you kind of resolve those pain points?
Well, with previous vendors, we had issues with performance managing and really trying to figure out how to get an all-in-one program that could generate business and ease of business for the dealership. So if anybody had any question, I would say it's definitely time to look at switching over to VinCue to ensure that you've got reporting, buying, appraising tools that kind of funnel everything into one place. It's an easier transition for the sales managers, for the salespeople. Everybody's mobile. So you need a program that can be extraordinarily mobile. So you can be with your customer, appraising cars, looking at what cars to purchase in the market all at the same time at the same place, but not stuck at a desktop. Nobody in this business in this day and age wants to be stuck at a desktop. You have to be out there talking to people, making magic, making deals, trying to figure out how you can get the dealership to the next level, selling more cars, doing more things. It's a necessity. And VinCue has really provided that for us.
Can you talk a little bit about how you use the mobile app, either on your phone or on an iPad, like to walk us through like a customer interaction, either with pick one that
Yes.
comes to mind.
So all of our salespeople have the mobile app. All of our managers have the mobile app. We scan them into the system. Once they're scanned in, we take pictures around the cars, and then we can show a customer, right? We can show them market data. If somebody's got a question about the value of their car, we can sit there and say, listen, it's not us. Okay, we've got guides and we've got different determining expensive and accurate software that's allowing us the ability to see what your car is transacting at in the open market. That allows us the ability to put a value that's fair to you, fair to the dealership, and fair to the next customer, because nobody wants to be the reason that somebody else pays too much for a car.
Yep. Can you talk a little bit then about, you've been using these tools for a little while. What
Yes.
kind of an impact has that had on the dealership?
It's really increased efficiency and productivity. We can do more in a shorter amount of time. We can change more prices in a shorter amount of time. We don't have a used car manager at the store. We've got sales managers and receptionists that change pricing and price cars and look at some of that stuff. When we can take lower level employees or more administrative type employees, and we can give them things like pricing cars and repricing cars based upon data and metrics. It's not about feelings anymore. It's about facts. The facts are cars are doing this. So it's allowed us to obviously control expenses and payroll, not having multiple managers. And it has allowed us the ability to sit there and do more in a shorter amount of time. I mean, that's what the goal is, right? Do more with less.
So you basically get access to data that helps basically anybody in the dealership put a number on a car.
As long as you can read a computer screen and say, this is where we want to be, you set certain parameters about being number one or number two in the market, a cost percent to market, whatever it is. As long as you have those parameters set and you have a process that you can hold people accountable for and follow, the rest is easy.
I love it. I love it. How long does it take to get somebody trained up? Like if you have a new receptionist or somebody in the service department and you want them to be able to put a number on a car, what's that process look like?
Well, the automotive business is one of those things that I really enjoy talking about for one simple fact. You get out what you put in. I think we can have somebody trained within a week. Sometimes it might take a month. It doesn't mean the person that takes longer is any less or not capable of doing that job. What it means is that people learn at different levels. As long as the person's willing to learn and has some drive and has that fire within them to be able to do better and do more for the company, you can train them as long or as short as they're willing to allow themselves to be trained. You have to test their comprehension throughout the way. You have to know that they've got a deeper understanding of what they're doing and why they're doing it. So for example, if somebody's changing a price, but they don't know why they're changing it or why they're choosing the number or metric to use, that's the key point. Not just because I said so, but because the data and the metrics say this is what it needs to be. Once you can get that out of the way and have people embrace that philosophy, again, the rest is easy. I'd like to say it's making magic, but it's really just making sense.
I love that. I love that. And so it sounds like you have just a tremendous amount of confidence in the data.
The data and the people, because you have to trust the people to be able to read the data. So 100%.
Okay, love it. What made you choose VinCue over all the other options that are out there in the market?
VinCue is actually a cold call for the vehicle buying center, for the VBC aspect of it. We were looking, this is pre-COVID or just the beginning of COVID, we were looking for ways to acquire more cars. Auctions were crazy. We still and really have never bought cars at the auction. And then when we were doing the demo for the VBC, I said, well, geez, this is really slick. If you had a core product, I would be very interested. And then the core product demo came into place. After everything was said and done, we ran VinCue with our vAuto parallel for about 2 months. And again, the reporting, the data, everything was more accurate. We ran parallel. We appraised cars in both systems, dedication of the staff to do what I'd asked them to do to make the change. And it was very, very clear after the time frame that we went through that VinCue was the way to go, was the proper tool for us and in our organization to use, and the rest is history.
Can you talk a little bit about the volume of what you're doing at your stores? Has the volume increased? Has profitability turned? Are there specific metrics that you track that you can attribute to some of this productivity and efficiency?
We were trading roughly 48 to 50% on our deals. We're now trading closer to 60%. I think we were purchasing, struggling to purchase 5 or 6 cars a month off the street. We're now purchasing between 30 and 40 cars on average off the street, and that's ramping up. We've really dedicated the second half of this year to a vehicle buying center that has really propelled us into being able to acquire cars. Between the two stores, we're sitting on about 180 used cars up between two lots. Our Acura store is doing 2 used for 1 new, and Subaru is doing 2 used. I'm sorry, 2 new for 1 used. So our percentages are good. We're really just kicking ass and taking names.
That's great. That's really great. So, you talked about starting out with the VBC and then looking at all the other core products that are part of the VinCue platform. Do you remember what it was like? Can you talk a little bit about the onboarding process, like getting started, and then what it's like to work with your performance manager on a regular basis?
Yeah, it was easy, it was effortless. I think that was the next biggest turning point for us between the two systems. We had to beg, borrow, and steal to try to get a call for a performance manager and have them engage, not just kind of go through the same old facts with our old system. VinQ's performance managers challenged us. They helped us get to the next level. They sat there and they said, well, if you do this, if you do that, and they were very honest with us. Listen, we're going to make recommendations. If you choose not to do it, don't say it's because the program's not working. It's because you're not using it to its fullest potential. We are an all or nothing dealership. We are going to give it our all when we use something. The onboarding was effortless and easy. We had a couple of hiccups, but you're good when you've got multiple different people talking about integration, pushing, and stuff like that. But VinCue was nimble enough to be able to sit there and say, there's a problem, let's fix it. And it was fixed quickly. And they kept us in communication. It was something that we hadn't been used to. So it was a refreshing change of pace. That's never changed in the 4 or 5 years now that we've been with VinCue. That level of performance management, the level of engageability and challenging has not gone down at all. And I think it's just led for a stronger relationship and a stronger partnership, which is really what we're after with our vendors in the long run. So,
are there, we pride ourselves in listening to our dealers, meaning if they have a recommendation for something we should change or a new feature. Do you recall any changes or features that you may have asked VinCue to implement? Can you talk a little bit about how that worked?
yeah, I mean, I think we looked at a better reporting system, a better dashboard, and again, whether it was a result of us or just a multitude of dealerships saying the same thing, you're talking in some of these cases less than 3 months to have something go through dev and put into practice. So again, the agility and the nimbleness, the adaptation of what VinQ's been able to do for us, it's been impressive. I think you guys should be called the magic makers, honestly.
Well, maybe together we make the magic. Maybe that's why it works so well. If there are other dealers out there who are considering VinCue, what would you say to them?
Yeah, again, like I said a little while ago, it's time. I think you have to sit there and try to figure out what's important to you and what tools are going to be a necessity towards getting there. If you overlook VinCue, you're not looking at all the right things. Your dealership to the next level. It is imperative that it is listened to and looked at. And you have to believe. I mean, you have to go forward and look at everything that it provides for you and just trust the data. I mean, that's really all it comes down to.
And then if you think about the journey that you've been on, you have the ability to give some advice to your past self before you guys joined VinCue, what would you tell yourself with the wisdom that you've gained?
Continue to have confidence. My predecessor, who I took over for, was very, very gracious enough to allow me to take on this challenge. I didn't have to fight much to get it. I just had to prove my case, and VinCue made it easy to have the facts available to say why they were the superior product. Maintain my confidence and do and keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I wouldn't change much. I'm in a pretty good place with an amazing organization, and the opportunities that we've allowed each other to take have risen us to be, again, one of the smallest dealers in New England by area of responsibility, and we're battling for #1 in New England for the year for Subaru dealerships. We're taking a brand new Acura franchise, and we've already exceeded our goals. It's an amazing organization with amazing opportunities. So it's been fun.
It's outstanding. Anything else that you'd like to mention or say about your dealership, about your customers, about your organization before I let you go?
Customers are fun. and we have to allow ourselves to have fun with these customers. We have to remember that they don't do this every day. We do this multiple times a day. You have to be patient. You have to be warm. You have to be willing to do things a little differently to get the results you desire. I hope that other people feel that same way, and we can continue to change the perception of auto dealers with customers and society in general to ensure that we are good people doing good things, and we are helping people get better cars for affordable money and having fun doing it. So,
Well, David, look, I appreciate the time this morning. I know that you're incredibly busy, and keep on making that magic for your customers and for your employees. We appreciate
you don't
you.
have to tell me twice.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angela.